Hey, everybody, welcome to an episode of Creators Out, episode 143. Holy shnikes, we're getting there.
Man, 143 is pretty good, dude.
143, less than a year and a half, you know?
Man,
I guess I've been working or something. I don't know what
yeah,
the hell's going
making
on.
some headway and whatnot, you know?
So I just want to let my podcast listeners know, as always, if you want to see anything that's on the stream, head over to Creators Outlet on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel if you like our content. Ring the bell notification so you get a notification every time we go live. And, please check us out on our all new podcast page on Facebook at JokerFan1969, which is also my IG ID. So you can check me out over there. And I'm always putting up videos. I didn't do one this morning, but I try to do one like 2 or 3 times a week to update everything that's going on over here on Creators Outlet. So we're welcoming back our old friend Dustin Brunell from The Listener, who's got another issue of the book on the way, and the sign-up page is up and running, and the link for that is in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us. Dustin, how's it going, bro?
Man, busy. It's good to see you, though, Will. It's good to see you, man. Super busy. You know, we've got The Listener goes live tomorrow, and as always, that book is finished, so it's not like you're going to Kickstarter to wait for the book. You're pre-ordering the book. So it'll go to print as soon as the end of the Kickstarter hits, which is super cool because that coincides with the way we do things now. Is since we've got 3 series running, what we do is it's bi-monthly. So when one book's done, the other book starts, and as the other book's starting, people are getting their books as the next book is coming out. So I'm excited to be able to do that. But yeah, man, Greed book 3, The Listener book 3, Beginnings. It's like, you were the first podcast I was on when I started putting my book out, my first issue out. It's hard to believe that was just about a year ago that we started working on, well, a couple months. It's almost a year. It's been like 10 months since we started pushing it. But it's coming up on a year for our first release on Kickstarter, and wow, man. Wow. Yeah, it's a ride for sure.
A first release, you say?
Yeah.
Would it be a first release of this?
It would be first release of that, yes, sir.
So I've been told by my buddy Nate over at Slab Stands that later on tonight, my custom slab stand for The Listener,
oh sweet,
is getting shipped out.
That's exciting. That's awesome, man.
So I will make sure to post that to you so you can see it and probably be a little jealous, but
I appreciate it. Yeah, I probably will be. Everybody's getting all the coolest listener stuff is out to people. Like I don't have like any of it. It's like
it's you send out the books and the cool little stuff in between the books, and then people are going out and I just went to a convention and I showed him a picture, and I just got a customized Listener pewter figure. So
yeah, I don't get to keep anything cool, man. Everybody gets all the cool stuff, and that's just because it's like we have like when we first started, we didn't have like fans and stuff, right? It was like there weren't fans, there weren't friends. It was a couple of us that were trying to put out a kick-ass book. You know what I mean? And, in memorandum and stuff like that. So it was like, now there's all kinds of really cool people in our lives, and we're very thankful for it. We're from writing for other companies, other publishers and stuff now, to having people that are going, when's the next issue of The Listener coming out? And I never thought we'd hear those things, Will. It was like crazy to try to do this, and to put out a book every other month seemed like such a daunting thing to do, and I remember people going, you can't do that. It'll never happen. And I was like, okay, well, there are people that think it will, so book 2 came out, When Winds Weep smashed, and then it got to the point where I was writing so much that I needed a little bit of an outlet, so I put Greed out, and Greed did really well, and now Greed has its own following and its own creative team and stuff, which is crazy to me, to go from a team of me, Eric, and my wife, with a couple cover artists in book 1 to having 3 full-fledged teams, is wild to me. I need to hire you just to keep up with all this shit I have to do. Yeah, man. But yeah,
we'll work for comics.
Yeah, hey.
It wouldn't be the first time.
So
I started when I was 15 in my LCS.
There you go. Well, Beginnings takes place at it goes right to the very end of The Listener, where When Winds Weep, when Guy is talking to Addie about his past and what happened, who his grandfather was, and so on and so forth. And so we pick up with that, and we get a really cool backstory for the grandfather, how he became the first listener, so on and so forth. And about halfway into it, we cut to Nostos in the other side, who is hunting Sonny. So that's been a lot of fun for us to put out, because it's the first time that we've delved into the other side in The Listener. We got into it real early in Greed in book 1, but in The Listener, we have not really gotten into it. So to show it off was a lot of fun. Big combat. There's always a lot of action in my books, but this is very different. It's the first time we've started getting into the theological side of it really heavily. This book is really into that, showing off a few things. You got to see Adesanya in book 2. Not much of him, but you did get to see him. He's very prevalent in book 3. So instead of just getting like a panel of him, you get a full page of him in book 2, but you get a good chunk of him in book 3. So that's really exciting for us to start bringing in the theological elements and the spiritual elements in the book.
So I was talking to my uncle earlier today, who's in his mid-70s, and he's retired Air Force vet. And I was telling him about the book, and he's like, and about sending in stealth troops to Japan to kill the invading Chinese. And I couldn't remember from what period in time, like what war this was.
So when in reality, the events are based on Vietnam, but we use World War II because it's much more accessible to people. They're taught more about it. They see more about it. Vietnam's like that war that people don't talk about. You know what I mean? It's not something that people like to bring up in casual conversation, versus like World War II, you have aficionados and stuff, and people that study it and collect it. And so that was what we used to be more relatable to folks. It was definitely nasty stuff, dropping those guys down. So you take 3 to 5 guys, drop them in the middle of the shit with a couple dogs, and be like, clean the shit, and then you can come home. But we're not coming down until you've killed everybody here. And then it's like, okay, well, all right, how do you know we've killed everyone? That was a conversation Les and I had, and he was literally like, they don't give you an answer to that you're expendable once they put you on the ground.
Yeah.
And it was just like, Jesus. He was like, there was a time where they had to sit for a day, an entire day, to wait for pickup. And it was just like, what on earth, man? So we get into a little bit of that in book 1. We show that off a little bit in book 1 and how that works. And book 2 is a free-for-all of our cast trying to get to Addie, who's been put in a really bad situation. So it was a really emotional book for me. The whole series is emotional, but book book 2 was rough, man. So once you get through book 2 and you're into book 3, you're learning a little bit more, you're seeing a little bit more. You've been reunited, we'll use that term, with the rest of the cast. You get to meet Lon, like actually meet Lon and not just get a panel of her, So that's really cool. Marissa Pope did a great cover of her for the second book. Lon, that was a really pretty cover. And we ended up doing 3 versions of that. We did a pink one, a red one, and a midnight blue one that were really, really pretty covers. Speaking of covers, Adam Fields is back for book 3. He's been with us all 3 books. Marissa Pope's back. She's been with us all 3 books as well. Eric, David Acampo he joined us on the second book, and he's on this one as well. And then Gabby, Gabby did another cover for us. So cover A again. And then Eric came out and did another cover too. So basically the whole gang that's been around the whole time is putting out book 3. So you guys can expect, quote unquote, from the team, the best book we've put out yet. So I'm really, really excited about it. There's elements of this overarching theme that we create. There's a lot to be seen. And the last issue we showed the gentleman's soul being pulled down. We showed that, which people question what's going on with that. A little bit of mystery with that. Then there's the Adesanya. Who is Adesanya? Why is Sani with Adesanya? All those things. We touch on all of that. With the exception of Sani and Adesanya in book 3. We won't see Sani in book 3. I know that's bummed some people out, but he'll be back in book 4. You guys will get to see him. I know he's everybody's favorite, which still weirds me out, so I enjoy the character, but he's terrifying to me. I think he's the most horrifying character that I write. I got a lot of really wild characters, guys. I mean, there's 105 characters that are fully fleshed out for the listener right now. And if you guys picked up a copy of Guy's journal from our last Kickstarter, there were like 40 of them in there. You guys got bios for like 40 characters, and full-on art pieces for them as well. But bringing in Adesanya was crucial to the story. He's very integral to everything we're doing, so it's interesting. And people's take on him. I mean, he's huge. He's like 10 foot tall. The epitome of like big Cro-Magnon man type of deal almost. The scariest thing about him though is he exists in theology. It's not like something that came out of my head. Did try to make him a little bit scarier, you know what I mean? Instead of just normal cannibal crazy thing that looked like Gollum. But yeah, a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun characters right now.
I don't like anybody taller than me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to have to reach up to punch somebody in the throat when they come after me.
Right, absolutely. Well, it's fun that you mentioned reaching up and punching somebody in the throat. We have a character that's about to make an appearance in the 3rd issue of Greed. That's Wrath, and Wrath will be in the listener down the road because Greed is 80 years in the future. Same world, 80 years in the future. So you'll get to meet Wrath later on. And when I said, Sani is the scariest character, well, he's scary because he's human nature. You know what I mean? It's just the darker side of a coin. But he's that character that believes he's doing the right thing. Getting rid of certain people and making a path. But you've got this character Wrath, and I couldn't even believe he came up. It blew my mind because we were talking about it one day, my wife and I, and he's this young Nazi German kid, because of the time period, you know what I mean? And, but he's much crueler than anything I've ever written. And he wasn't possessed by Wrath. wasn't possessed by the sin. He welcomed the sin. So it's a really dark character, really, really scary stuff.
Right there screams, right there, what you just said popped into my head, the movie Act Pupil.
Yep, absolutely.
And absolutely. I'm sorry, but that movie scared the living fuck out of me.
Right? So imagine him with the power of like the Hulk. You know, so he's a terrifying character. But going back to beginnings, there's a lot to be said about it. There's a lot to be said about you know, the other side, you know, and what it looks like on the other side and how people react and stuff. I can show you guys some images. 1 second, Will, and I'll share my screen with you. But there's a lot to be seen. And normally I'm that guy that doesn't show very much because I'm kind of, you know me, I'm big on people getting the surprise factor and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll show you guys a couple pages. Hold on, let me share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Here's one of the pages. I think Eric just keeps getting better, man.
Oh yeah, the progression of his art is amazing.
Yeah, he's just getting better and better as we go. These were a couple really fun pages, getting to show off Addie's grandfather and the original listener. You know, it was like, you know, where did he come from? Why did he gain these abilities and stuff? We get into that a lot. I'll show you one of these too, if I can. Yeah, I can show you guys this one. This is our first showing of the other side. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. In the living realm, the noble spirits are blues. Addie sees them as blues and whites, but in the spirit, when they on the other side, they're their natural colors versus what colors the other side are. The other side's normally blacks and whites and grays, but clearly there's something wrong. There's like an infection. So Gnostus is trying to find out what the infection is, as well as hunt down, Sonny. So lots of fun with that. There's some really, really good pages. This is page 1. None of the dialogue on these, but they just came out so good. Like, it's just a lot of fun to work with Eric and to see, what he's producing. You know what I mean? Like, it's phenomenal stuff. And I can't express how happy I am with the product. You know what I mean? And what we're putting out. And that goes for all the books. You know what I mean? With the listener, it's so heartfelt. And when you have a team, and I use that term very seriously, when you have a team versus having contractors, it makes so much difference, because these groups of people are invested in your product and your project. So if I could ever give anybody any kind of advice on putting out your own project, get a team. Find people that are like-minded individuals that want to see the story progress. And I think it makes a difference. You can see it in the art, you can see it in the way they talk about things. Hold on, Will, and I'll send you the latest cover real quick, and you can pop that up. I don't have it on my computer, or I'd put it up there myself. But that's Adam Field's new cover that I just sent you, and it came out stunning. I was telling Adam today that may be the first metal cover that we put out. I've not done any metal covers at all, but that there may be the very first metal cover we end up doing. Really, really excited about it. And he was excited about it. He sent me this message and he was like, man, this is going to be it. And I was like, okay. So you've got Adesanya in the background, Sani in the foreground, Addie in the middle, and then the winds under Addie. And it was just, I don't know, it blew my mind. So, and with the way the colors work and stuff, I was like, that'd be so cool as a metal cover. Those.
Yeah, that's a beautiful cover.
That was
Either that or like a full chromium cover, so all the whites are chromium.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, so I'm kind of I'm on the fence about which direction to go with it right this second. But the only one we're waiting on now is Marissa's cover, and that's bound to be beautiful as well. It's been a lot of fun coming up with the designs for these, because normally I let the cover artists like go ham. You know what I mean? I don't ever, if they ask for a direction or an idea, I give them that. But generally, it's, go with it. Go with where you feel. Do the cover how you feel like it should be. Because in reality, guys, these artists, they're amazing artists because they've made a name for themselves and they put themselves there. You know what I mean? They're awesomely talented. All right, buddy. Good night, pal. I love you too, pal. So when you get these guys and girls that are coming out here, you hire them and you bring them on your team because you like their work. You know what I'm saying? If I tell you exactly what to do, there's no mystery for me as a creator. If I didn't trust your judgment, you wouldn't be on the team to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's like, do what you do, have a good time. You know what I mean? Make it yours. And that's, I think that's very important. And with the listener, we've gotten so many covers that are just, we're knocking them out of the park, and it's because the teams are so good. I couldn't ask for better folks to work with. But like, we're doing a lot of shows this year too, Will. Holy crap. We did ICC, then we did Suncoast Comic Con in Florida. Jim, Kyle, and I are going to be at MegaCon in Orlando coming up in August.
Oh yeah, that's a big one down there.
Yeah, we've got that one coming up, and then we'll be in Michigan twice. Forgive me, I can never remember the names of those shows, but we're in Michigan twice. Like, we're in Michigan twice, like in the same month. So it's like, go to Michigan, come back to Tennessee, go back to Michigan. So I'm excited because I've never been there. So that should be fun. There's going to be a lot of cool folks at a lot of these shows. So and the showrunners are doing really good with like distance and stuff like that. Because I mean, wearing the masks thing, it's real hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe anyway when there's a million people around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got the mask on, it just makes it super, super hard to breathe. So a lot of places, the past two shows we've been to, they're really good about giving you space so you don't have to, like you're not like, it sucks because it's cool when people can climb, crowd around the booth, you can talk, you can sign books, whatever else. But at the same time, safety is a concern as well, so they are being really cool about, keeping X amount of people in front of the booths for X amount of time and stuff. So you can, have a little bit of distance, but still breathe, yeah, because you got a billion people in a room, especially like MegaCon, you got a billion people in there. It's like sucking in hot air the whole time.
Oh yeah. It's like, we're not worried about Corona. We're worried about con crud.
Yeah, that's right. Did you wash your ass before you walked up to this booth?
Oh yeah, I put it in the sink. Oh, you're not supposed to do that? I'm sorry.
I'm just glad you put some water on it. That's all I'm saying.
I was using directions from New York City, so.
Oh yeah. Did you use the shell and the two seashells?
The two seashells? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You place them just right at the faucet, and it'll splash the water like a good 12 feet.
Oh well, see, I didn't know. I've never been able to figure out how to use them. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you.
Cro-Magnon, man.
Now I'm telling you. Speaking of Cro-Magnon, man. So the listener has a fan base. It has a fun fan base. We're meeting new people all the time. We had a fan. I'm about to send you a link real quick, Will, because we've gotten reviews, like really, really good reviews recently. And I think they'd be pretty cool for you to get to hear them. Actually, I don't even have to say, well, I can just forward it to your, hold on, I'll just forward them to you. We got a couple of them. We have a lot of fans in the UK and in the Australia. Mm-hmm. We're in a couple stores in the UK right now. And we've got a bunch of really, really cool fans in Australia as well. Let me see if I can find this file. I'm going to send it to you right quick. But it's really exciting to go from not knowing if people pay attention even in your own country to selling books in another country. You know what I mean? Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go, Will. William Pace. But it's wild, man. Like, it's absolutely insane because you're just like blown away, and the kindness that people share, man. It's just, I don't know. It's a beautiful thing, to be sure.
I don't know if I can share that. Let's see.
I don't know.
Yeah, we got some spicy comic books in the background, but I can't get rid of that.
Do I really?
No, I do.
Oh, I was like, what do I have back there? I'm like trying to keep it clean when I got, sharing a screen. I'm like, oh.
And I'm like,
what's back? Is BGD back there? We haven't even talked about that yet.
I'm like, hold on. Let me get rid of that and come back over to this. And
one more I'm sending you to.
Oh, I know how to change that.
There we go. And that's the last one I'm gonna send you.
Oh, that's a TikToker. Oh my God.
He's a good dude.
I just look at him, I go, dude, you're way too old to be on that platform.
Oh, he's super cool.
Let's see. Doing it different this way. And because that way.
There you go.
Hey, everybody. JokerFan 1969 is my official Creators Outlet podcast page on the fake book. But now we can listen to these.
Listener, and oh my gosh, it is freaking fantastic. The artwork is incredible. The writing, it's amazing. If you guys haven't already read this comic book, you need to go out there and get it. Go online, buy it, whatever you need to do, get it in your life. Because seriously, you will not be disappointed. It is freaking mind-blowing.
Her voice tickled my nutty nuts. And the next one.
Everyone, I've just got my hands on the listener issue 1 and 2, and it is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm picking pieces of my brain up off the floor. The writing team is snapping. The artist, the creator, the whole crew is just on fire. I'm telling you, I can't believe it. I'm talking the ear off of everyone I'm coming across on the street about this comic book. If you haven't read The Listener, then, mate, get it into your life because it's fantastic.
I read it before you, mate. Just saying. And then.
So cool.
Oh, let's get the
cultural influences.
Damn it.
If you like world cultural influences.
There we go.
What's up, folks? Talking about that right there today. That's the listener. If you like world cultural influences, major historical influences, as well as Native American culture, supernatural, and then the intellectual droplets drop throughout the whole thing. A little bit of horror. Check out The Listener. You won't be disappointed. Amazing art, amazing storytelling. And there are some things that will throw you off your rocker. But if you take a second, someone's always listening.
I have the coolest fans. I don't give a shit. I'm not even going to get into an argument with anybody. You can't beat my fans. My fans are cool as fuck. Like, just blow my mind. Awesome, you know. And there are moments when, like, I still have, like, man, what do you call that? Imposter syndrome. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be at an event and be like, man, am I supposed to be here? Am I allowed behind this? Is that really my name headlining these shows? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but then you know, you get people like that reach out and they appreciate the amount of work that you put into something, you know, how hard the team worked, you know, the art, the story, all of it, because it's an amalgamation of all these people that put their time into this. You know, it's not like, man, my idea came out and it was great and that was it. No, there's so much behind it. You know, there's with the listener is very different, and it's a smaller team than my other books, but it's literally the same, like, 7 people that have been doing this since the get. You know what I mean? And we added ESK for lettering, and, you know, we brought over David Acampo for covers, but other than that, it's been pretty solid, you know, and it's been an incredible experience to work with so many people that are into it, you know, and they evolve. Like, art is just like anything else. Like, it's like sports. If you practice, you practice, you practice. But art is like the same way, though. If you draw a rose X amount of times, your rose is just going to get better the more times you draw it, you know, the more times you work on it. And the listener team is at it all the time because, like I mentioned earlier, we put out books bi-monthly. You know, so it's literally like we have a new book out every month. You're getting a book, you know, and I don't know too many other publishers that are doing that, but I'll say this: we're going to keep leveling up, you know, as we go. You know, with Greed coming out, Manny and David are both working on the second issue of that right now. It's beautiful. It's a lot of fun. We're introducing Lilith in that book. Then we've got, oh my gosh, the cover teams on that are bananas. Look at, we got Justin Hunt that's doing a cover for that. David Fott just did a cover for that. April Reyna is doing a cover for that. All kinds of incredibly talented individuals. And that's not even counting the interior team doing their own covers. You know what I mean? Then one of the most interesting things about me, you asked what I've been up to. I got hired, well, I guess. And I need to add it to my, you know, my Facebook page and all my social media. But I'm writing a book for Totally Rad Comics right now.
Cool.
And it's called Babes, Gore, and Dinosaurs. And it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of fun. It's very, it's like, it's got normal human beings in it, and then it's got anthropomorphic dinosaurs. It's like the Dinosaurs TV show meets Blade Runner. In like this cyberpunky, futuristic type of city. And it's a lot of fun. It's just as dark as everything else I put out, but there's boobs. So, I mean, you know, that makes the light
the number one seller in the industry.
That's right. That's right. Well, you know, I fought it for a long time, Will. I did. I kept going. I'm not, you know, I don't know that I'm going to do anything like that. I don't. And then it was just like this idea came to me while we were bullshitting one night. And Jim was like, "Are you really going to make that a book?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I want to publish it." I said, "Okay, let's do it." So, yeah. So it's about a character named Ricky who's a retired mercenary, and he owns a gentleman's club in one of the shadier sides of the city, and it's called Piece of Tail.
See, right there, as soon as you said gentleman's club, why am I not on the team for this book?
Yeah, he owns a gentleman's club.
30 plus years in that business. I could add a little bit of sarcastic realism to that.
Well,
saying.
There are certain things I'm going to talk to you about. Like, I never frequented those, so I don't know much about them. But I was going to ask you about like conversation that you would hear as you walked back and forth between people. You know what I mean? So
I especially didn't frequent those while my wife is listening to me.
there you go.
Hi, Mrs. Brunell. How are you?
She watches my shows. There's a lot of support there. So
Somebody got to keep an eye on you.
that's right. That's right. But we just added Steph Wilson, which is very cool. You know, he does a lot of Toby Rad covers.
Oh yeah, I know Steph. Great guy.
Good guy. Really, really nice guy. We've not only do we have him, we've got William Russell doing covers for that book, The Angry Artist. So we're stoked about that. We've also got April Reyna doing covers for that too. And then our buddy Jen is doing covers for that. And she did a really cool one. I'll be showing you guys here in the next couple of weeks. Is a gender bender take on Dr. Wu and Jurassic Park, which is super, super cute cover that she did. I'm really excited about that. But it's like I said, it is from me. So, you know, it's going to be dark. It's going to be gritty. There's going to be gore. It's basically about, so I worked for a security program, almost a private police force in Jacksonville, you know, and the ports and stuff would come in. We dealt with a lot of stuff, you know, missing people, all kinds of shenanigans. Well, one of the things that people don't talk about that happens in this country a lot is people get kidnapped and they get sold.
Oh yeah,
it happens, especially in near the water and big ports and stuff like that. That's why you've constantly got people monitoring ports. That's why security is so high at them, not just for assaults and attacks by other countries and stuff from inside the country, you know. So anyway, so I reached back into that. So this story, the very first arc revolves around a girl who is a breed of Saurian, whom we call them, that is not seen very often. And she's come to the bar because she feels like she could get a job and disappear, you know, inside the bar. And where else would you go than one of the best known mercenaries, you know, in the business? You know, so we're really excited about doing that and working with some of this talent. I mean, oh my gosh, you know, I couldn't have even imagined working with some of these cats, you know, just because they're so up there and so awesome. You know, Blade and Hunter's doing the interior work, and the stuff's beautiful, man. Like it's mind blowing. And I think it's really cool working with him because, and Acampo is coloring the interiors. So that's exciting too. But it's interesting because all our books are different stylistically. You know what I'm saying? It's a very interesting way of seeing things. But I'm stoked about it. They're all nice dudes, you know. And then, you know, Gwen is back. You know, she's been working with us since the Listener Book 1. So Gwen is coloring, oh my gosh, she's got like 5 covers coming from me right now. So that's really cool, you know, and you build these relationships. You build, you know, things with people. And it's phenomenal to see how they mesh together, because I have members of one team that'll move over to the other team and help out over there and so on and so forth. It's a really well-oiled, like, you know, locomotive right now. And I'm just happy to be a part of it, you know, which is really, really cool. And then you've got the mind of, you know, the marketing mind of Jim Noble behind Babes Going Dinosaurs. So it's really, really exciting. We've got some T-shirts coming out, which is different for us. You know, we haven't really got into much of that stuff. So we've got some T-shirts coming out. We've got some stickers coming out. You know, so it'll be fun. I'm excited to see what the team does and what people are thinking.
Oh yeah, my friend Sean Howe has done a couple of covers for Totally Rad.
Oh, that's awesome.
He did a Naughty Fairies cover, and Jim says he wants to get him on another cover very soon. So
that's badass, man. I'm excited. I'm excited to see anybody push forward and do what they want to do. You know, and if you can get the opportunities, like we were approached by a gentleman, our friend Brian, who him and his wife run that Reels and Heels
Oh yeah.
Really, really nice people. So they approached us and have hired us to do a book for them. So it's really cool, the networking aspect of it, and to see the work paying off. When the more you work, the more obviously people see it, but it's nice to see, where things go with it, the different angles and whatnot.
Oh yeah, totally. So the listener part 3 goes live tomorrow on Kickstarter, and the link is in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching us, and also the link for the listener store, so you can check out everything. There might be some a treasure trove of certain things on sale, graded and raw, that if you missed them, you can get in the listener store.
For sure.
And that's where I went to give the link to Slab Stands, to be like, yeah, that logo right there, that's going on the front of the slab stand.
That's so cool.
Okay, cool. And I've got that one coming in, and I've got one for my my triple signed Mexican variant Detective 880 chromium cover from San Diego Comic-Con from a couple of years ago.
That's super cool. Triple signed.
It was supposed to be double signed, but it got triple signed by accident, and the dealer was like, yeah, you're good. Here you go.
That's awesome, man. Jeez. There's some books that just like show up.
Not yet, no.
They show up and you're just like, holy cow. You know what I mean? They're phenomenal. Like we were the Marissa Pope cover that we did for the last issue. They came out beautiful. I didn't expect to get the third color though. That was not something we were, Gwen sent it to us on a whim, and it was really, really cool. And it was cool to be able to give those to people that have invested and helped out and stuff like that. It was a really nice thing to do. And then with Guy's journal, we've actually got some friends' children that did some artwork that got put in that book. So that was cool as well. There's all kinds of neat things to do to give back. One of the biggest things, and I told Eric that I'd talk to you about it tonight live, is the fact that, there were those 215 Native American children that were just found in unmarked graves in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So with the trade paperback coming out, we're going to do a variant. So people don't forget that event. It's one of those stories, me, that's one of those stories I don't want people to ever want to, recommit, or to ever see such an atrocity again. So, and when each copy of that sells, we'll be donating to a children's foundation. So I'm above and beyond about that. I thought that was super cool. The whole team was in on that. It's cool, as we grow and we learn and we age, to be able to do small things, like stickers and stuff. Something, like I said, was something I never did, or shirts and stuff like that. I did soap. Soap was a lot of fun, but I didn't do much else other than that so far. So because I couldn't afford to do that and give people the covers that we were given and stuff. So we're going out of the box a little bit, to give out a little bit more and give back a little bit more in ways we can. For When Winds Weep, we actually for Greed, we gave a portion of the funds to my daughter's school. So to help with the art program, so anything that we can do and help out with where we can, it's not like the margin is huge, but where we can, we try to help out. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be able to tell the team that, when we put out the trade paperback, hey, look, it's a trade paperback, it's a perfect bound trade paperback. It's got 3 issues of the book in it that we've created together, and we'll be able to show that to people. And once it's done, no one can take that, right? It's a permanent fixture. It's been published. And I think that's an incredible, powerful thing. And it'll be almost on the year that we put out the first issue that we'll be putting out the trade paperback.
I can't believe it's been almost a year.
Me neither.
It's just
Look at
it's
my
crazy.
uncle died. My uncle died last year on June 16th. And we started drafting this book in July. We started talking to people about it in September. So yeah, almost a year. We're almost in July now. So it's been a powerful experience. I'm thankful to everyone that's been involved so far. And I'll say it again when we get to October when the book was printed, and we're doing something special for that. I'm there, man. I'm at a place. You know how people ask you how you're doing. I'm in an overly emotional place. It's crazy. That's just because it's hit the first anniversary of his death and stuff right around now. So we're, it's a little bit more emotional than normal right now, but it's exciting and it's an adrenaline fueled thing, to get invited to shows. Holy crap. I've worked shows as a vendor. Will, it's blowing my mind, man. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for, the Bingstons, Mike and Trish, great people. I'm grateful to Greg McQuinn. I'm grateful to all these folks, yourself included, that go out and they're like, hey, look, this book's badass. Check it out. I'm grateful to the dudes in the UK that put our books in his stores. You know what I mean? And, the guys in Australia that we work with and stuff that show their books off and they put our books out over there. And just, it's a fantastic time to be a comic collector, especially a comic collector that's into the indie scene. It's really, really cool because there's cool books coming out left and right. My only grievance is my pocket.
I'm not going to be. Yeah, that. Well, there's that. I won't be surprised at all if, in a short amount of time, that indie and manga are basically all that's left.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think the wind of change is blowing. Like I mentioned to you earlier, we've seen this.
Right now, I got a Scorpion song stuck on my head.
Absolutely. I'm 36 years old. I've been collecting books since like 1991. And I've seen that. You've seen the things move. You've seen things, pass. And I think we're coming to that again. I think we're coming to another indie revolution. And the thing about that, and everybody says, oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Well, the thing about it is it's a good thing. It creates jobs. It may lower the value of some of these high dollar books, but other than that, it creates jobs. It creates positions. It creates money. Look at right now. I follow Netflix. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I follow Netflix. I follow what Netflix is doing with the indie community. Look at I understand that, Sweet Tooth, people are digging Sweet Tooth right now. That was a great film. It's a good comic book, or a great show and a good comic book. There's so many little nuances to things that are occurring right now that it's foolhardy to look past the signs that are occurring. You've got companies like BDI, Totally Rad, all these companies that are coming up and they're putting out books that people are collecting. It's not like they're buying one or two issues from them. They're going out and they're collecting these books. Look at Scout Comics. You know what I mean? People are all over it. Image is still sitting pretty. You know what I mean? All these companies,
Image is not sitting pretty anymore.
Well, what I mean by sitting pretty is I mean their wealth of characters and what they have. You know what I mean? It's like I don't really consider them an indie as much as they used to be.
No, they're mainstream.
I mean, even Dark Horse right now. Dark Horse is probably the oldest indie entity still around and putting out content. The sad thing is they lost Godzilla, they lost Aliens, they lost Predator.
They lost everything because Disney bought them out.
Basically. I think the one thing that I would still love to see, and you don't see from them anymore either, and I need to do some research in it, is the Terminator franchise. I don't know if they have it anymore.
They don't, because that was part of the acquisition. That was part of an acquisition from Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, there you go. I mean, they were that one like shining ray of indie left in the big dog fight. You know what I mean? Especially working with DC and doing all the crossovers that they did with DC. So, but it's cool. Aftershock is. I don't know if is Aftershock still putting books out right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing well. You know.
I've never. No. That's wrong. That's a lie. I was going to say I never bought anything but from Aftershock. We never got anything from Aftershock at Outright Geekery because as far as they were concerned, unless we had like 100,000 followers on our main platform, on our main page on Facebook, we weren't big enough for them to be bothered sending us review copy or even PR to put out. They couldn't be bothered. We weren't big enough. So, but I did collect the Dark Arc, one of their oldest series, like many years back now, and it was phenomenal. So I did get a couple things from there. I just started last month. I started subscribing to the Scout Box.
Oh, awesome!
Because I'm sorry, but $40 delivered to your door in a specialty box of 12 brand new high grade comics, bagged and boarded, super secure. For the price that you pay for that, even with shipping, for what cover price goes for now at an average of $5 a piece, you get you buy that book, you buy that box, you basically get the value of that box hand over fist, like almost double what you paid for it. You're basically getting 4 books for free. And last month, everybody, that series Stake, which I really dig, it's kind of like modern day Buffy the Vampire Slayer with social media.
Okay. That's cool.
It's a pretty cool take, and I really dug the book from the get-go. That and Cult of Icarus, I was down for that as well. But last month, the issue of Stake they put in, everybody that got the sub box got this badass hollow foil cover of Stake.
That's super cool.
So I'm like, okay, that right there is a $40 book.
Yeah, it's like Dynamic Forces. I love that. Yeah.
So they give out great stuff every month. They put a random thing in people's subscription boxes that will get them like a signed and graded copy of like one of their books or some like a metal cover or something like that. Last month they put 2 metal covers of one of their big series in there. A number 1 that sold out a long time ago. They found it like in the bottom of a box in the back room when they moved warehouses. It's just crazy because every time they put out a metal cover, it's $50. They make either 100 or 150 copies.
Right.
They release them at 12 noon Pacific time on a certain day. The last one was the only one that there was a couple of them that I was like really tempted to buy because I wanted to get the books.
Yeah.
But the last one I wanted so bad because it was the recount from Jonathan Hendricks, which I've been following, and I've got like 5 or 6 variants of number 1. I got the short print variant of number 2, and of the second print of number 1, and everything else. And this cover was completely badass. It sold out in 12 minutes flat.
Holy cow!
Yeah. So it's just crazy. They're doing a good job, and they've got they get the Black Caravan, which is their strictly horror line,
right?
The darker line, and they've got the Scoot line for all ages, books for kids and everything.
That's so cool.
And they've got like 12.5 projects and signed over for development. So
I love that, man, and that's I think that's really interesting. The way that comes about, and it's cool to see. Like right now, with Cowabunga, we've got the listener, we've got Greed, and then we've got the books that Kyle puts out as well, the art books and stuff that he puts out. And then moving forward from that, like we've got the other two books, one with Totally Rad, and we've got another one with the other production company. But it's like, getting books out there like that is phenomenal. To see a company come up and go, hey, look, we're going to put out 18 titles. That's phenomenal, but it all starts somewhere, and that's like I was talking to, Jim about that the other night. Jim puts out like 17 covers to 30 covers per issue that he drops out. You know what I mean? And they're awesome. They're incredible artists across the board. But I was like, if I can get to the point where it's, along the board where I need it to be, I'll produce more. You know what I mean? I'll bring writers on and produce their series. It's just getting to that point where you start at the bottom. It's just like any other career, right? Any other job you go to, you start at the bottom. You know what I mean? You don't get to be head fry cook at first day. So that's not an insult. It's just funny to me. So, there's you just don't. You don't start. That song was it. You start at the bottom and now we're here. It's like you still have to go through B, C to get to D from A. And I think it's interesting to watch my own development. I pay attention to the numbers we put out. I pay attention to everything that's going on. Like one thing that we're doing with issue 4, actually, it's in development right now, the listener. That's how you guys know we're far ahead and you don't have to wait for the Kickstarters. We're already in development of the next issue by the time the Kickstarter drops for the current issue. And it's, we're actually, I think it's 32 pages instead of 24. And we're not charging any more for those additional pages. It's really important for us that you guys understand that. You guys aren't going to be charged for the additional pages. I just want more to get across. I don't want to cram information, and extra panels just to get them in the book. So you guys will get some additional pages, additional art, whatever, what have you. And it won't just be like a page of written dialogue. It'll be full art pages for those additional pages. Really excited to be able to do that, and everybody agreed with that, and to keep it the same price, which was really cool in my opinion, because pages cost. So the fact that the team was okay with going, hey, look, we'll add the additional pages and stuff was really, really cool to me. Because it's on me as a writer, right? I could easily go, oh, well, we'll add that in the next book. But that shows lack of, caring about our product. I never want you guys to get to the book, into the book and go, that last page is so important to me in every issue I put out. I love the last page. It's that ready for the next book. It's a page turner within a page. You don't have, it's always that last flip. It's something badass, but you have nothing left. You got to wait a month to get the next issue. And those are the coolest parts about it. I love that. I love that fans reach out and go, hey, what's going to happen next? And that's why we do it. We do it to this point where we work so hard because of the fact that you guys have given us the confidence in our ability to put that product out. It's a universal thing. It's like a symbiotic relationship. You make us feel good. We want to do the best anyway. But you get emails like that, or you get messages on your phone like that, talking about how awesome your book is, or this and that. It makes you feel good. It's almost like a recharge, right? It's like Superman just got his ass whooped and got kryptonite thrown in his face, and he's sitting on the ground. And he's like, I can't fight anymore, and it's dark outside. And then Green Lantern comes over and he takes Superman up into the sun, and recharges that battery again. It's just a cool concept. Or the placebo effect, where he makes the fake kryptonite, and he's like, oh, Superman, I got my fake kryptonite, But it's all it's very cool. It's a very powerful experience, and we couldn't do it without you guys. And it's important that you understand that. As a person, I think that we all have ups and downs, but knowing that there are people that want to read the books and are excited about the books talk about the fight scenes, talk about what's going to happen next. Oh my God, you killed this character, that character. Dude, I pop in on Facebook and I'll get messages from friends talking about, hey, look, it was talked about over here. You know, and I think that's so cool. You know, it's a really cool thing. And I'm thankful, you know, beyond belief thankful. You know, when we put out the first Kickstarter, we had like 2 people following the page when it went to start. I think there's like 15 on there now or 16 or something. But if you look at that in the amount of time, Will, we've only been working on publishing books, physical copies of these books since November of last year. You know, so if you look at the algorithms of that, it's phenomenal. You know, even if it's only 15 fucking people, I don't give a shit. I don't need 100 million people to care. But 2 to 15, I mean, it's just, what is that? Almost 800% increase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and, you know, you can talk about the numbers all you want, but then you can listen to people talk about things, and it lights a fire under your ass, man. You know, you're ready to go. You're ready to rev up. I write almost every night, you know, because I'm improving my craft just like everybody else is. Mm-hmm. You guys, these artists are out, and these wonderful creators are out there drawing all the time. We got to flex that muscle, man, because if you're only writing a little bit, it's not going to work, you know. I mean,
yeah,
you can write a shit story real quick, I promise.
I have.
Oh no.
My entire high school repertoire is made up of shit stories.
Oh man,
that's not even believable. You didn't say it had to be believable. How long did this take you? Last week when you assigned it, I had it written before the bell rang.
Oh, that's my book report, sir. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching.
Yep. How'd you write that book report if you didn't read the book? I read the back cover and then answered the questions he said we needed to ask with the information from the back cover.
That's right.
That and I watched the movie.
No. Or you read the dust cover, right? You open the dust cover and it's all right there on the inside.
Yeah, yeah. You read the forward from the author
right
inside the front dust jacket. Oh yeah.
Oh, I got it. You got an A too.
Fucking Cliff Notes got nothing on me.
Moby Dick with a quickness.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What was Moby Dick about? I'm pretty sure I shouldn't tell you about that movie I made over the summer.
Oh no. Camp Crystal Lake ain't got nothing on Will.
Yeah. Just remember Jason can't swim.
But Will can. Da, da, da.
No. I am the living embodiment of Captain what was his name? The captain from McHale's Navy.
Oh, I don't know his name.
Oh, Binghamton, Captain Binghamton. I have a literal lead bottom. Like the rest of my body can float. My ass is made out of cement. It sinks like a rock. Oh,
that is something you never want to hear. Another, man, I'm having a rough time today. My cement ass got a little moist. I don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
Man. Oh,
the 7th Fleet just rolled in. Really? Where are the seamen? Give them a couple minutes, would you?
Oh, no.
Jeez. I pull up to a fast food joint. Like, yeah, can I get a large Pepsi? We don't serve Pepsi here. We have Coke. Okay, I'll take a gram.
Oh, gosh. The dad jokes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I figure, why not? I have 2.5 dad bods. So,
no.
Well, I've lost 2. I had 5.
Oh, man.
I lost 2 and I still have 3. So, I mean, if I can lose another 150 pounds, I'll be a happy camper.
Oh, I imagine, though, you get a lot of work done around that place there, though. You got a lot of boxes to move around.
Yeah, I moved a whole bunch of stuff over the weekend, and then I I woke up Friday morning and I have another ginormous box delivery from JJ's Jesse James Comics out in Arizona.
Yeah.
He shipped me like another long box full of books. I'm like, geez. Last time he shipped a box, USPS was just like me over. It took him a month and a half to get like one box here from Arizona. This time,
it's expensive, man, to ship
no, he sends a media mail. It showed up here this time in like 8 days.
That's awesome. Like right now we've got a shipment going to the UK and it's like $250 to ship. But that's a lot of books. But I sent 2 books to Australia a couple weeks ago, and it was $60 for 2 books to go to Australia. Yeah, I was just like, well, so now I'm working to get my books printed in other countries instead of having different, because that's ridiculous, right? No, I don't want to sell you a book and then have to charge you more shipping than the book cost. That's just.
Well, one of my subscribers on Creators Outlet over in the UK, Bristolian Dave, who greets everybody with "Hello, me babbers."
Oh gosh.
We had this discussion a while back, and he said, I love to support other people's projects, and I love indie comics, but how I know I'm not going to back a project," he goes, "and I refuse to buy digital comics anytime, anywhere, any place. I won't read them. It's a Sam I Am, Dr. Zeus moment." He's like, "I know I'm not going to back a project if the shipping costs as much as the book."
Yeah, and you can't even help it either. It's like if you buy a copy A or cover A of the Listener has been $15 since we started. $15 for cover A of the Listener.
Mm-hmm.
For me to ship it to Australia, just the one book, is $30. And I feel awful even putting it on there. You know what I mean? It's like, but if I don't charge you the $30 and I go to send it to you, this is something I learned when from the first Kickstarter I did with the first book. I paid for everybody's shipping on that book, every single person's, because I didn't know my ass from my elbow when it came to Kickstarter. You know what I'm saying? So, but I paid it. It's on me, whatever. But when we went into the second book, it was still like, man, it sucks that you got to pay this much to ship it. I don't want to charge you that much. You know what I'm saying? It seems asinine to me. But now there are ways to, if you work with the right people and you treat people the way you should treat them, and you get in situations where you can, have them, you pay for it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I'd rather pay, $4 or $5, or you pay $4 or $5 to get it printed and $2 shipping. So you're like $7 versus 30, because that shit sucks. Nobody wants to do that. I mean, especially when you order in a small amount. Like I said, 2 books was $60. That's pretty hefty, man, for shipping. And I copped it. I paid for it. I didn't make him pay for it. You know what I'm saying? I paid for it. But it was still like, Jesus, whether we like it or not, as much as we do it because we love it, you still have to make some kind of money. You can't just keep putting out, or you can't make no more books.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can't give away stuff, and you also can't overcharge a lot for stuff.
Absolutely. There are certain things, like I said, you can do a little bit here or there. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I'm working on something to get a copy of the Listener in the hand of each of a group of young people. Like I'm working on doing that right now. It still costs money. You know what I'm saying? So I have to arrange it to a way where if I make X amount of dollars here, I can move it over here to do this thing I want to do. You know what I mean? It's like anything. It's any other business. You know, you're having to keep up with funds, where you're moving funds, how you're using funds, and everything else like that. It's not this like walk in the park or as cut and dry as it's led to be believed. You know, just like time. It's, you know, you don't go to business working for yourself, so you're working 80 hours a week and never seeing your kids or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's all these nuances that we have to, you know, validate for every action we take. Is it worth this amount of money to me to work this many hours? You know, is it worth, you know, my wife going to bed by herself so I can do this for this many hours? You know what I'm saying? All these different things. You know, even if you're wide awake, you still don't want your wife to go to bed alone. You know, that sucks. Who wants to do that? So, you know, do you work a little bit longer? Do you wake up earlier? There are all these nuances to this, just like any other business. Just like the baker, you know, that busts his ass to get down there with his bread in the morning and stuff. I'm not at the point where I can be like some of these cats and work a day or two a week. You know what I mean? That's just not where I'm at. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm working on 5 different projects. That's to make sure that I can take care of everything. And not only that, but to make sure I can get the books out for people. You know, I think that's one of the coolest things about putting out your own comic books is to be able to get them in people's hands, man. And then when people get them and the joy that you can give them, you know, a lot of people, that's where they get their release from. They get it from reading, you know. So to be able to take people away from things that in life that may not be pleasant for them, it is an awesome, you know, thing to do. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be at least helping somebody somewhere. You know, that's where that tagline, somebody's always listening, comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we don't want you to feel alone. You know, it's can you imagine, you know, never being able to associate with someone or being too afraid to talk to people? And, you know, so, yeah, man, it's just, it gets real deep. It's an emotional, you know, roller coaster with that stuff. Speaking of emotional roller coasters and whatnot, this is going to sound real weird. Did you see the new, not Annabelle? Did you see the new movie, the Devil Made Me Do It?
No, but it sounds like it was a movie made out of my life.
You need to watch it.
Because I remember I was probably like 3 years old, and I don't remember what I did. My mother used to tell the story all the time, and I had heard it so many times I kind of blocked it out. It was like a story she would tell like her cousins or, you know, my aunts or uncles or whatever, and she yelled at me and goes, "Why would you do that?" And I was like 3. I was like, "Oh, the devil made me do it."
Yeah.
And I tried using that excuse. You know, it always got my ass whooped, but it was, you know, as they used to say in the old like, remember the old D&D gauntlet game in the arcades back in the day?
Yeah.
And when you failed miserably, the cocky announcer voice would come on and say, "My, that was a valiant effort." And I'm just like, oh, you know, it's just one of those things.
For sure.
So we got the Kickstarter, not just in the show notes, but it is also in the chat. And as I am skulking Dustin's page, I will also drop into the chat the official listener store.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. There's all kinds of cool stuff in there. Greed will be on there in the coming weeks. We talked to the printer today. They said that was being printed. So one cool thing about Greed is, you know, we do blank covers with the listener. We normally have Adam normally does most of them when they come out. But with Greed, we're doing black covers. I'm really excited to see what people, you know, ask to have done on those or see where they show up. I know that April's doing one. I think David Acampo is doing one too. So we'll see. But it's always interesting to see the lack of color used. and use it in the piece, negative space. So pretty stoked to see how people treat that. I know that Mike DeBolfo just did a listener blank the other day live. That was pretty cool. I'm excited to see the book show up in places,
especially using that black negative space to portray some of the noble spirits.
Man, that'd be really cool. I think that tomorrow when it goes live, if you scroll down, you can see some of the other blank covers that have been done. They're near the bottom. But there's a lot to be said about, that general thing right there. The noble spirits have been portrayed by several different people different ways now. And I think it's very interesting. Like, man, to see people work on a cover and a particular character and put their own spin on it is really cool. It's just like Marvel having a million different people do Wolverine. It's a cool concept. Just like Venom has been numerous different ways, since the original, Todd McFarlane and stuff, so that kind of stuff is really, really cool to me, because it's very personal. When you take and you add your little nuance to it, now it's engraved forever in that character. You can go back and do that character that way again later on. And I think that's phenomenal. It's like adding your own DNA to these pieces, which I'll show you a really cool cover after we get off here. I'll send it to you. But there's a DNA cover for Totally Rad Comics that we can't show on here, but it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. Well, all you have to say it's a Totally Rad cover. I go, oh, yeah, I can't show that here.
Yeah. No, it's going to be good, though. I'm excited about it. Jen did it. It looked really, really good. There's a lot to be said about how we treat these characters, but you have to stay true to them. At the end of the day, if you're doing a noble spirit, it still has to look like a noble spirit. And that's an interesting fact, because when we go into theologies and stuff, we have to make these characters still noticeable for who they are. Like when you eventually see Cuchulainn, you have to know that it's Cuchulainn. Same thing with Thor. Eventually Addie will run into Thor. You got to know it's Thor. You got to know without him like chucking bolts of lightning. There have to be ways to give the nuance away because the character already exists. I didn't make him up. So there have to be little details that tell you it's Thor. I don't know if we can, definitely can't use Chris Hemsworth's likeness or anything, because he'd be a great Thor for my book. But there are ways to make things look recognizable.
Yeah, Fat Thor.
Yeah, Fat Thor would be good too. I like him. Dad Thor is he's a good dude.
I like him too. I'm like, wow, we're at a convention.
Yeah, I think you could do it.
You're bald. I go, I can borrow some chick's blonde wig from the strip club.
That's right. Enough of them. You got that little black book hidden around there in those piles somewhere.
I don't need a black book. I know how to find all of them.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I couldn't let him leave with my money. What the fuck? Man, I could always tell the good from the bad ones, because the bad ones would be like, can you please play me this song? I'll hook you up. And then I would get in trouble, because I would say, at the end of the night, I go, excuse me, you gave me too much. No, I hooked you up. I go, $1 or $2 does not a hookup make. Maybe you should take these back, because apparently you need them more than I do.
Oh, Lordy.
Which, got me fired and then rehired back a couple days later, because,
Oh, you got to be nice to people, Will.
I'm sorry. I was born on the cusp of Sporkio. Porky Pig. Of Scorpion and Sagittarius.
Oh yeah, well there you go.
So like they say, somebody looks at me and they go, "I've never been more sure in my life that you've buried a dead hooker."
Yeah.
And then I look at them and say, "Who the hell said she was dead at the time?"
Oh no. Well.
These are jokes, people. Get over them.
Good job, Will. Yeah. Let him know she was still breathing.
Yeah.
She asked to play hide and seek.
Look, I put one of those stretchy straws in the dirt. What the hell?
Oh man. It was 6 foot long.
Something was 6 foot long.
Oh gosh. The box. Jeez.
Like I'm gonna pay for a box for a hooker. Come on.
Okay. Well.
On that note.
Yeah.
So why don't you let everybody know where they can find you? Apparently, it will not be in a grave with a dead hooker.
Apparently, it won't be.
Nope, you got too much work to do.
Yeah, no, I'm not even allowed to breathe half the time anymore. You guys can find me on social media, just about anywhere. Just do a search for me or do a search for the listener. I'm on most platforms. I'm on Facebook like an umbilical cord, though, because it's the easiest for me to use because I can use multiple pages and stuff like that on it. I post art constantly. I post story stuff constantly. So if you guys are curious about any of the stuff that Will and I are BSing about, you can follow me on Facebook. My page is not private, so you guys can hop on there and check it out. If you're looking for the listener stuff, there's also a listener page specifically that you guys can find. There's a listener group that's fairly large now, so you guys can get on that. I tend to post all the like super art and stuff like that on there versus having my family stuff and whatnot on the other page. But yeah, hit me up. I'm more than happy to help anybody in any way I can that's jumping in this industry. Feasibly, people, feasibly. You'd be surprised about the requests that I get on a daily basis. So if I can help you feasibly, I will, with advice and stuff like that. Or if you need a writer, let me know because I'm at it all the time. And I'm happy to write your short stories, your comic books, your novellas. I'm just not writing people full-length novels. So if you need anything done or you're writing a manga or anything like that, you need some layout help with, just let me know. But other than that, guys, I'm pretty easy to find. I don't make myself scarce, if you know what I mean. Yeah, man. And, if barring you can't find me that way, Will can get a hold of me anytime, day or night, generally speaking. So if you guys need me, I'm more than happy to help. Like I said, always happy to come hang out with Will. Great dude. Glad you guys are watching his show. One of the first podcasts I've ever seen. And I think that's one of the coolest things ever to be able to say, hey, look, after almost a year of doing this, I'm back in the same place talking to the same dude. So pretty phenomenal stuff. Hang out with us, see where we are next year. It's going to be that much cooler. Anyway, thanks for the time, guys. Thank you, Will. I appreciate you so much, my brother.
Hit up that Kickstarter link tonight. Sign up on the list. So as soon as it goes live, you'll get an email notification and you can check all the different tiers and bonuses and all the stretch goals that are going to be there at the beginning. And, bookmark the listener store site too.
For sure.
And of course,
or follow me. You can follow me on Kickstarter as well, because one of the cool things about following people on Kickstarter is when I put Greed out, the next issue of Greed, it'll let you know. And then when we put out Babes, Gore, and Dinosaur, it'll let you know about that as well. I have a book right now. I'm going to say this. I am like Heinz 57. Like I write a plethora of different styles and ways. I haven't written a love story yet. I don't think. So, maybe, in some people's viewpoints, I don't think that I've written one yet, but, you're welcome to check them out. And we've got a book out, like I mentioned, every month for the foreseeable future. So, and they're done. And that's important. I hate that I have to say that how important it is because of the fact that the way Kickstarters run and certain people treat their Kickstarters and stuff. but circumstance happens. Anyway, our books are finished before the Kickstarter goes to Kickstarter. They're already paid. The art's already done. The story's written, all of it. The only thing that hasn't been done is it hasn't been printed. So Kickstarter for us is like the print to order. So we're really happy to be able to do that with you guys. Make sure you check it out. If you've got any questions about previous Kickstarters, hit me up. We've gotten awarded, projects we love from Kickstarter before, and every one of them seems to be doing better than the last. So I appreciate your help and the support. It means the world to me, my family, and our teams. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. And don't forget, please subscribe and ring the bell over on the Creators Outlet on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter at JokerFan, and Instagram and Facebook is JokerFan1969, and Facebook is the podcast platform channel for this. And this will be up and available on downloadable podcast anywhere you like to get your podcasts in about an hour. So check it out, because I'll be sharing the crap out of it again. And we've got big names to beat, because I had Michael Watson from Freestyle Comics on, and within 24 hours, between downloads and listens on the link, he broke like 50 listeners for just listening or downloading to his podcast, like in one day.
That's pretty dope. I forgot I have live shows. I forgot that. I have a live show on Wednesday night called The Other Side that you can check out with me and Jim Noble. It is a over 18 show. That's why it's at 9:00 at night. I definitely suggest hanging out if you like, shoot the shit, chew the fat. We like to do a little bit of that over there. And then Wednesday nights at 7 Central, we're on with the Aussies, which is really cool for comics. So we do that every Friday night as well. So if you guys want to get a daily dose or want to hang out with me, just let me know. I'm easy to find. And chances are you'll find Will over there too every now and then. So
yeah, I try to pop into multiple streams while I'm doing a stream sometimes, and just pop in, throw up a hey lol in the chat, and before anybody can respond, I'm usually already gone because I'm working. But
man, you do so many shows though, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, we got 6 this week, so
that's awesome.
We're doubled up on Friday. So we've actually got 2 art streams this week. We've got Sean Howe on Wednesday night, who has done covers for Totally Rad, and would probably be pretty awesome on a certain dinosaur stripping club thing.
Have him hit me up and we'll talk about dinosaur strippers.
And then I've got Rich Parada,
great dude there too. Yeah.
On Friday afternoon doing a custom sketch live on air with us. We'll be shooting the nerd chat and while he's doing art. So it should be a lot of fun.
That's exciting, man. I'll chime in when I can, of course.
So great seeing you.
Pleasure,
a big howdy doody to Jim Noble and the Booby Rad Comics, and we will talk to you again soon, because we know somebody is always listening.
That's right. Yes, sir.